few minutes late here. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with a new computer. So glad to be with you. I want to start by asking you probably can't hear me unless I have my microphone. Let's try this again. Okay, great to be with you this morning. Sorry, I'm a few minutes technical difficulties with a new computer. So I want to start by asking you a question, simple question. In today's busy world with all the things that you have going on and balancing in your life, why begin doing a daily spiritual practice of centering prayer and meditation? Why take time out of your day to make that a priority? Now, maybe you've heard about the benefits of meditation or a daily practice of prayer and meditation, like better mental health, lower stress. Maybe you're feeling kind of spiritually disconnected from God or a sense of connection to something bigger than yourself, or maybe you want to get in touch with a truer, kind of deeper part of yourself. Maybe you feel a calling to that at some point in your life. Or maybe you're more motivated on the relational side. You want to be more present to the people who matter most in your life, like your spouse, wife, husband, or partner. Maybe it's your kids. You're watching them grow up and feel like you're not present to them. People I talk to sometimes are taking care of parents or just want to be present to them as they're getting older. Or even just wanting to be more present with the clients and customers that you serve and work with so you can better hear what their needs are and innovate and respond to them. And when you start to ask that question, why, it's such a powerful question. Because it's like once you start asking the question why, it's like you're peeling the layers of an onion and you really can't stop until you get to some concrete kind of insight or answers into your own motivations. And there's real power in that is unleashed that I want to explore with you in this live session. There's always deeper layers to your desires and your intentions that are waiting to be discovered. And that's why I think of this whole spiritual practice and centering for wisdom. It's really an adventure. It's an inner adventure that also then leads to new outer adventures, which are also super fun to explore. One of my greatest joys in my own practice and in working with others is seeing where that adventure leads and the little surprises or, oh, I didn't know I had this skill or gift to share with the world and now I'm doing it and it feels so good and exciting. You see the positive impact on the people around you. And there might even be layers, like you kind of have an inkling of wanting to go deeper, but there could be layers that God wants to reveal to you, but you sort of need to be still and quiet long enough in order to be able to hear it. And that can be a little bit scary. I mean, I get it when if you read scripture and hear about like the prophet's call, like they're usually kind of like resistant at first and scared, because it's the unknown. It's pulling us into the deeper mystery of what it means to be a human and to live on this planet. So I get it. I get that can be scary. But if you've been living with that feeling for a while, eventually that little scratch of like, oh, I need to do something with this is going to become more powerful than the fear. And that's really where I love to connect with people, because there's a path, there's a way forward. But it's just not that well known in our culture. At some point in working with clients, the question of why always starts to expand beyond just what might be going on internally or in maybe those more immediate close relationships into what you might think of as kind of the broader social realm. You start by kind of working through the pain that's maybe more personal and closer to home. And you do really quickly within a couple of weeks and learning the practice and starting to do it daily. That some of that pain starts to let go, and some of that armor around the heart that you might have built up from just living on this earth and experiencing, broken relationships or difficult failures at work or something like that. It starts to close your heart. And when you do this work of centering for wisdom, that healing starts to happen and the heart starts to open and rise up and expand a little bit. And when you remove the blocks that have kind of formed over your heart that we all have, you start to expand and you become more aware of and more attuned to the people and to the community that's around you. And again, that can start with yourself and your family, maybe your business or your organization, but eventually it starts to kind of trickle out and you start to think about how your actions and your leadership affect your community, your local community, and then it just kind of goes from there. Now, you don't have to look very far in our world today to find cynicism about looking for honest, hopeful leadership in our world today. I mean, our distrust of whoever we see as other in the world today in the United States, that's particularly divided along political lines. But there are other ways that that manifests. We have kind of low expectations, I would say, about public leaders, whether they're political leaders or business leaders. We expect them to be sort of corrupted by wealth and power. And then, we're talking about the spiritual realm here too. Most people I talk to have struggled on some level with religious leaders or institutions, whether that's the church or other organizations that have let them down. And they don't want to, but they still have this sense of like, it's not that I want to let go of my faith, or that I don't believe in God, or I don't want to be connected to something bigger than myself, but I don't know how to trust, leaders and institutions that have let us down at such a deep level when, historically, those institutions and those leaders were a source of spiritual authority and comfort. And is it any wonder then that our collective and individual anxiety is so high in our culture right now? I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? All these things that we look for authority to help us kind of feel safe. And I mean like positive authority, right? Like a well ordered organization needs good, strong leadership. So I really think we have this kind of crisis of leadership happening right now. And now, when I work with clients through this process, here's where an even bigger and more expansive why starts to come into play. The leaders who have the courage to show up for a daily spiritual practice, and let's make no mistake about it, it takes courage. I mean, it sounds like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit and be quiet for a few minutes a day, but it's not that easy. But the people who have the courage, who show up, who are willing to open themselves to learning a practice, to do that deep inner work of self-awareness. And the cool thing is, it's also the primary work that you do is surrendering or letting go and allowing a deeper healing divine presence. Often we call it grace, especially in biblical terms. If we can allow that grace to do the deeper work, we actually get to rest. You get to rest while you're doing that process, and then have all this energy that you're bringing back into the things that you have to do or that you choose to do throughout your day as a leader. And doing that, when you show up with that kind of courage and that kind of trust in this grace and this higher healing power, you're not just saving your own mental health, though it is that, your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. You also are showing up with greater honesty and integrity and courage in the world. And you start to discover that you have a higher purpose to serve through, whether it's through your business or your organization or your family, wherever you exercise leadership, as a coach, whatever it is, through any of those relationships, you are really showing up and infusing that greater trust and integrity into the world. I see this moment where it goes from, I'm really focused on my pain and my suffering and where I'm trapped and burned out and overwhelmed, where my relationships or maybe business is starting to fall apart. And that initial healing happens really fast. And you start to look around with that expanded heart and be like, oh, there's more out here that I'm called to. There's more that I have to give back. I reference my client Michael because we've continued to do really deep work for months now. And when we first met, he was ready to walk away from a business and a career that he had built in media and journalism. But now he's doing his daily practice. He's working on a financial model for supporting community-based journalism that supports the common good in all these communities where he's working throughout the country, and doing it in a way to bring it to even more areas and markets so it can be scaled and support those local voices of justice, of just journalism that need to be heard in the world today. And he's on fire with this bigger purpose. And he had that skill set all along, but he was not sure what to do with it because it was so covered up with that overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety. So you see how that shift, that personal healing then takes you into that broader question, that broader why. And the other cool thing is, we just talked last week, he's got this pretty grand plan that he's been working on for months, but he's not stressed about it, right? He's not working in the same way that he used to. He does his best work. He draws on all of his experience and skills and talents. But because he's centered in this daily practice and he's connected to this bigger why, he trusts that there's something bigger than himself unfolding, and that it's unfolding according to a bigger plan. And that is so cool to watch. So here is the truth. The world needs your unique wisdom. Whatever it is, whatever experiences, whether it's the professional training, maybe it's even the challenges and the failures and the heartaches that you've had, maybe it's the triumphs and successes that you had. God, in your practice, takes all of that because you're saying yes, so that you can allow that to be used and move through you with grace and with this centered power to unleash greater trust, integrity, and healing on the people that you lead, on your friends and your family, on yourself, and onto the world. This is a healing journey that you are embarking upon, and it's guided by this power and love that is so much bigger than you or I or any human mind can possibly fathom. But what we can do, and what I am always inviting and challenging you to do, if you're up for it and if you're ready, is to say yes to it. And the way we do that is by learning this simple spiritual practice of prayer and meditation, getting tons of help and support from a coach who's had lots of experience with it, and a community of other people who are doing this together, so that you can make it a daily habit that becomes easy to do. And then learn how to integrate it into your daily life, and then live from and aligned with that centered space and energy, guided by that divine wisdom every single day. And you just keep peeling that onion of why deeper and deeper and deeper. And the reality is, as long as you're on this earth, there's always more to peel. There's always more to discover. There's always more that God is guiding and calling you to. There's infinite expansion of your heart that will unleash the skills and talents that you have, and pair that with that wisdom and love, and just have a massive impact on the people and the community around you. So this is what gets me fired up, is unleashing that for myself, and trying to be part of a community that unleashes that for and with others. So if that inner and outer journey is something that you want to explore and that lights you up in the same way as you listen to this, and if you feel that sort of call that's been scratching in the back of your head or in your heart for a while now, and you have the courage to explore it, then I want to invite you right now to book a call with me and my team. And you can go to thomasjbushlack.com/apply, which is in the, let's see. Sorry, I was trying to post it in here. For some reason, I can't see where to post, but it is in the description. But it's thomasjbushlack.com/apply, and sign up for your free breakthrough session. Me or one of my teammates will spend about 45 minutes with you, getting really clear on, what's scratching at the back of your head and your heart that needs some attention. Where do you want to go with that? Start getting some clarity around that. And then if we can help you get there, we'll discuss that with you. And if we can't, that we'll be totally honest about that too. And we'll even look for somewhere else to refer you to that might be able to help you if your problems are the kinds that we can't help you solve. So if you're ready to respond to that call and that journey, and you're feeling the courage, and you want to kind of remove some of that tarnish that's built up around your heart through the human condition and the challenges you faced, and turn that into the power that drives your leadership and your vision, then book that call, see where it takes you. Totally no pressure, but it'll definitely be worth your time. 45 minutes to an hour to get a lot of clarity on where you want to go next. So thanks for listening. Great to be with you here this morning. Go ahead and book that call, click that link, and we will talk with you soon. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.